Blessings everyone, this is Chris Kendall from therawadvantage.com, registered holistic nutritionist, raw food lifestyle coach, and raw chef. Today, following on the back of that video on vacuum blenders I did with John Kohler, I got one myself and I'm gonna put them to the test. The Flexzion vacuum blender versus the Vitamix for various different recipes. Let's get into it.
Baby, I like it raw. Raw Advantage likes it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Hey.
Alright guys, so as I mentioned, this is a follow-up video to the one I did with John Kohler, all about vacuum blenders, something I really want to put forth here. I'm not trying to put across the idea that everyone needs a vacuum blender or that the beautiful Vitamix here is outdated, anything like that. But it is a fun, newer technology that does have some nutritional advancements. I'm not going to go too deep into that because we made a whole video on that. The link's below, probably the link's above. You're going to want to check that out. It's a really good in-depth video with John all about it. This one here, the Flexzion, is one that he actually recommended for one of the best lower price ones. I got it for like just over $100, shipping included off Amazon. I'll have links below if you want to try it out as well. I think in the few years coming up, we're going to see more and more available. Hopefully Vitamix has a vacuum blender option in the near future here as well. But getting into this video, I bought this one for a little Christmas present for myself. Something to try out, something to play with, something to enjoy. I always like to test this kind of stuff so I can bring you guys the best quality food and tools and all that fun stuff. So when John gave me some claims about it, and again, this is consciousness rather than concern. No need to get this if you don't really have the budget for it, but I decided to give it a try. And with that, I want to try and make a whole bunch of different smoothies and dressings in this video, compare them side by side for texture, taste, what happens to them if they sit for a while, and then make some conclusions from that. So, kiddies love it, I love it, I hope you love it too. Let's dive right in. First, we're gonna start with some oranges. I got some mandarin oranges as well as some navel oranges. And what I'm gonna do for fairness is I'm gonna peel all of these oranges, and each orange I'm gonna split in half and divide equally between the Vitamix and the Flexzion blender so that we get the same exact oranges, hopefully really showing the taste and texture differences more clearly, more fairly. So let's do that. Now I got both filled up equally with halves of each of the same orange. They're all set up. The only thing that's different here now is that I'm gonna need to hit this vacuum button first. There is this vacuum blend button as well, which I could just hit that, it would automatically vacuum, and then when it's done vacuuming, start blending it. But I'm gonna hit this one first. It's kind of noisy, right? So it vacuums for about 20-30 seconds until that's all ready, and then you hit blend. So that's taking all the air out of the canister right now, which helps with oxidation, helps with vitamin C levels, and apparently vitamin A levels as well. So there's two options here. You can hit the vacuum button, and that just vacuums. That's also for the storage container in case you make something that you want to eat tomorrow. You can take the oxygen out so it stays longer. Otherwise, you can hit the V blend button, which just vacuums it, and then as soon as it's vacuumed, it starts blending it. We're gonna blend these two for the same amount of time and hit the high option, which actually is a set blending mode where it'll blend for a specific amount of time. Once that stops, we'll stop the Vitamix.
I didn't do that well. Sorry, Vitamix, I didn't mean to do that, I promise.
Oh, there we go. That's one full cycle, which was about a minute of blending. Now, I really did not mean to accidentally have that lid on poorly. Sorry, Vitamix. But anyhow, blending this one for 1 minute compared to blending that one for that 1 minute, of course, there's going to be a heck of a lot more oxidation. And normally, if I was using the Vitamix, I wouldn't blend it that long. I just blend it long enough to get the job done. It is a more powerful blender, so you could blend it for less to get the same consistency. But nonetheless, I wanted to do it at the same time as this to show what happens there. One thing that's noticeable right now, you can see that the color is noticeably different. That is pretty darn amazing. We'll pour them into two exact same cups and see what happens. So before you can take this off, you got to do the safety switch on top. And then right here, you pull this and listen and watch. You pull this to remove the vacuum. Pretty cool. One thing to notice first is all the air bubbles on top. Let's just pour the Vitamix juice in there. Looks beautiful. Nice and frothy. There's some little bubbles in there too. Let's pour this one the Flexzion into there. A little bit of a different texture. I don't know if you can really notice that, but right off the bat, I can really notice the deeper oranger color on the Flexzion one. This is a little bit lighter. You can see it more in the containers, although that might be a bit of that. You can still see that difference in color. Now, what I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna taste this, and then I'm also gonna leave some in a cup for a longer period of time and just see what happens, if there's any separation or any different kind of changes that you can notice. All right, so here's the big taste test. This is what's going on. I'm gonna try the Vitamix one first, my old reliable. I've used a Vitamix for over 12 years. I love them. I think they are one of the best blenders in the business, if not the best. Let's check this out. It's delicious. Knowing what's coming, it does feel a little frothy because I got that in my mind a little bit. It's nice and smooth. It's very good. All right, let's try this one. It's really interesting because it actually feels wetter. That's the weird thing. Like this, you can tell that this feels a little bit more fluffy and a little bit aerated. And you can actually see it. It's hard to see through the camera. I'll make sure I film 4K really close as I let these guys sit. But this one feels lighter and fluffier, a little bit kind of airy. This one actually feels really wet and just has a little bit of a deeper orange flavor and color, as you can probably see as well. It's like, this one tastes more like juice, like fresh squeezed juice, whereas this one tastes kind of like a frothy smoothie. An Orange Julius, if you've tasted something like that before, it's a store that they have out here, or a juice kind of bar they have out here. Definitely a noticeable difference. All right, we're getting Camilla in on the taste test. So on the left on your hand, you have the Vitamix.
Yep, this one is the Vitamix.
Yep.
And it's, you know, if you have a Vitamix, you'll recognize it. It's a fluffy, nice Vitamix feel and taste. That is really tasty. I agree with you that it's more juicy. And also something that I noticed, and also just feeling them, is that this is way colder. So the Vitamix, well, it warms things up. It's not warm or anything, it's room temp. But this is just slightly colder.
All right, so 2 hours later, I hope you like that time lapse. You can see there's a little bit more separation in the Vitamix one. Still tastes very similar, very fluffy, very light. And let's try out the Flexzion one. Very similar, but it has started to get a little bit more fluffy. It's starting to taste a little bit more similar to the Vitamix one, but it does still taste a little bit more orangey, just a little bit more dense and wet, as I said. It's also a little bit darker in color, as you can probably see. So that's that for the orange. All right, well, the second smoothie that I'm gonna try out with this, huh, Kitty? It's Dottie there. She wants to lick my arm. She loves to lick my arm. Look at, it's like a smoothie to her. And the second smoothie that we're making here is a green grape banana smoothie, one of my favorites ever. If you haven't tried it, this is a smoothie to make, but that's not what this video is about. It's about blending them up in here. So we got the two blenders again. I got the grapes from one pack evenly split, and then I have 2 bunches of bananas, and I'm gonna take 3 from each. So it's about 750 mils or 3.5 cups of grapes to 6 bananas per smoothie. Let's give her. Yeah, she's a good kitty. She's a good one. Good kitty. Oh, you're such a good kitty. All right, now there you have it. Equal amounts of grapes and bananas in there. I put the grapes in first just so that it blends down a little bit easier. So the one thing I've noticed with this guy is, of course, without the tamper, like the Vitamix, it's a little bit harder to get things to blend that are less watery, right? So if you just do a straight banana smoothie, it can be a little bit trickier. But we're just gonna start this one off with the vacuum. And you know the drill. Gonna go for it after that. Now, following John Kohler's cue, I'm going above and beyond. I did the vacuum first, then the vacuum blend I'm going to do too. And the instructions, they just say do the vacuum blend, but this way I'll do a little bit extra. So we're going to start that. It'll get extra air out of there for just the first second and then start blending, and then I'll start the Vitamix and run them both for the same amount of time. There we go. Hopefully it goes, otherwise we'll have to see. Alright. So we're gonna have to stop it. So there's one drawback of the Flexzion there. It's not quite as able to just tear stuff up like the Vitamix. So I'm gonna have to either turn it off and then take off the suction and then push stuff in, or what I did last time something like this happened, I just pick up the whole unit and shake it around. Don't have two hands, sorry guys. I'll see what I can do. Let's check this out. What I meant to say is I only have two hands. I can't do it all at once. So let's see. Because that Vitamix had already been blending for a little bit, we'll just try this one on again and then see what happens, and then catch up the Vitamix after. Zion, you got this. There we go. There we go. All right, so just the actual blending process, we can see it wasn't totally an even match because of what happened there. The Vitamix wins in spades for that, for the ease, and also having a tamper. But let's open these up and see how they taste. They recommend you unplug, so we'll unplug that. Open this guy up. What do you think, Dottie? And once again, let's release the valve. It's kind of cool. So initial view, you can see this is more yellow compared to that's a little bit more brown, which stands to reason. That's a little more oxidized, right? Can't see it as well there, but let's pour it into 2 glasses and see what it looks like. Number 1. Ooh, it looks nice and smooth and delicious. Looks very similar. A little bit of a different kind of look to it though. Let's see if you can notice that difference there. It does just look more yellow, doesn't it? And it's different here at the top, if you can really see. Obviously you can see more air bubbles in that one. And now for the big taste test. All right, so I'll go for the trusty Vitamix first again. It's what I'm used to. It's really damn good. It took less time to do it, was easier. It's really good. Oh, excuse the handlebars, by the way. That was just for New Year's Eve party. Not trying to look like Hulk Hogan. All right. Let's go for this one. Look at that difference, eh? Wow. This is the first time I've made this smoothie with the vacuum blender. And I'm really not trying to exaggerate or anything like that. It is just smoother. It just, again, it feels more wet. It's because there's not the air bubbles that are in the regular blender. Both are still so damn good. I'll probably make both, but this has a way stronger grape banana flavor. Like it's noticeably a deeper flavor, more wet. It's really neat. So I got 2 more recipes in mind. Let's keep going.
Dee. Hey, Dee. Yes, you. You're cute. Look at one leg off in the back. One leg off in the front. Just cute all around.
All right, so for smoothie number 3, I wanted to do a classic kind of green smoothie. And I'm using oranges again with some pineapple because that can really often make a thick, really frothy smoothie. So I want to really see how they work together. Plus I got some spinach in there to see how that blends it down nice and smooth and if it separates over the longer term and the color. So we're gonna start by putting it on the vacuum, of course. And this will take a little bit. All right, so it's all vacuumed up. I'm gonna put it on the vacuum blend just so to get a little bit more vacuum, and then we'll get ready for this guy. Oh, it's gonna start. All right, so there we go. Initial, you can see that this is just a little bit greener, unless that's the craft kind of thing. And one thing I forgot to mention is that there's 5 navel oranges and 310 grams of pineapple in each and about 75 grams of spinach. So they're the identical smoothies. So let's open this guy up. It looks nice. You can see, you know, just a little bit of cleaning to do. It didn't get that one little guy there, but that's totally fine. For the Flexzion, we gotta take that off, unscrew it. Now watch this when we pull this. It's pretty cool. You hold that up, suck it off. So, wow, that was pretty nasty, wasn't it? So look at the difference in color. So that's something you can tell right off the bat. This one's more bubbly and lighter green, and this one's like a dark green. You know, you can really see that. So let's put these side by side, and we'll start with the Vitamix. I'm gonna get that one leaf out of the way. And just pour half of a cup. There we go. And then we'll do this one. Looks like a very similar texture. This one looks a little thicker. Wow, but you can really, I mean, this is the most noticeable thing in a green smoothie. The difference in color here. And you can see all the air bubbles here, and this looks a little more condensed. So these two we're gonna put aside and just let sit for an hour and a half and see what happens. And now let's taste these. So I'll go with the Vitamix first. You know, it's funny, since I made the first 2 videos, I've been using this exclusively really, at least for smoothies for the last week and a half. I haven't actually had a smoothie with the Vitamix. Can really notice the difference. Again, this one just kind of feels more air bubbly and a little bit more frothy in the mouth. Really damn good, but just different from what I'm actually getting used to now. So let's try this one. It's that same thing. It tastes more like a juice. It tastes more condensed. There's not that fluffy feeling in the mouth, and it actually hits the taste buds harder that way because it's more surface area of the smoothie actually hitting your taste buds rather than air pockets, right? So texture, taste, this one wins. Convenience, this one wins, but that's this one. We'll see how that ages, and then I have one more smoothie for you guys. All right, so now we got the 4th recipe, and this is a really fun one I hope you love. It's a raw vegan apple pie smoothie, super delicious. And all we have in here, in each, the exact same amount, 300 grams of soft dates. You want kind of soft ones. If they're really hard, this guy can actually still take it, but soft is nicer. The blenders, there's 1 liter of water in each, and 1 apple in each. Now there's 2 different apples. They're actually 2 different varieties. So I cut them both in half. So each has half of each of the other apples. So it's totally identical. I also put in there 3 shakes of cinnamon and 2 shakes of clove. So it gives you kind of that authentic apple pie taste. You know, you could add ginger, you could do other things, but this is the recipe, guys. Let's just go with it. So of course we're gonna start over here by just vacuuming this guy and sucking it all up. Look at it sucking all the bubbles out and it's pulling it up. So it's even getting the air from out from underneath the dates. Pulling as much of it as the machine can. All right, so I'll just give it that extra little bit, and then we'll get these both started and see what happens. Tricky. All right, well, there we go. Gonna boop. Get that lid off. Ooh. There we go. Oh, you can see there too. Very different look. Now, this of course is because it's kind of frothy at the top, has a bunch of air bubbles. Nice and smooth, good consistency. Date smoothies often have the habit of separating, so it'll be really interesting to see. Perhaps looks a little smoother. It's definitely browner, which is unexpected from what I think. Now, it's hard to say if that's just because this is more aerated, so it's a lighter color, and this one is just more dense, so it's a darker color. So we'll put these ones aside. Give this one a taste. It's really good. It's really frothy. Tastes like a nice frothy apple pie. This is just more like a date juice drink. I keep repeating it, guys. It just is wetter. This kind of feels like fluffy. This feels wet. Yeah. Yeah, this is like a little bit more kind of creamy, fluffy. This is more like intense and dense and a little bit more of a flavor pack, you know? So, yeah, a tough call, guys. It's so different. Like, you look at them and it's like actually so different. I honestly, before I started this test, before I got a vacuum blender, I thought vacuum blenders was just a silly gimmick and wouldn't really make that big of a difference, but I'm pretty surprised. So let's get into the last section of the video and I'll contrast, compare, and let you know my thoughts and results. Check this out already. This is what I was talking about. Look at that separation there compared to here. You can see a slight one. Look in the cups. This has been 1/2 hour later. All right, guys, well, here it is. Which blender reigns supreme? We have the Flexzion vacuum blender and the almighty Vitamix. You know, I love Vitamix. I've been repping them for like 10 years and I've been using them for 17 years. I'm an affiliate. I stand by Vitamix. I think they are the #1 best quality, best working blender in the industry. 7-year warranty, you know, the most versatile. I've traveled with them. Amazing blender. So I again want to kind of point out, just like I had that video with John Kohler about vacuum blending in general, this isn't something to stress about. If you already have a Vitamix, be stoked. It is the best blender in the business and only more can come, and you can, you know, fine tune it and make that a vacuum blender if you want. But this was a really fun and interesting experiment. I'm really enjoying the Flexzion blender. And as you could tell from those 4 examples, there were marked differences. So let's get into all those, and then I'll give you my final verdict at the very end. So #1, ease of use. The Vitamix wins hands down. I mean, you can just throw big chunks in there. You can use the tamper and force it in there if you need to, if it gets really thick. It's got a really strong 2 horsepower motor, so you can do more intense jobs like nice creams and nut butters and, you know, stuff like that. The motor's not gonna give out and shut off unless you really bog it down. Whereas the Flexzion, on the other hand, you really do need to kind of chop stuff up into smaller little bits. Make sure you put the watery stuff on the bottom first. There's less capacity there, which also means, you know, if I'm making a big 2-liter smoothie, I kind of need to make 2 of them to make it work out. I had to, with the Flexzion, pick up the whole blender and shake it, which does work, but I was sometimes worried that I might get splashing near the vacuum chamber and all that kind of stuff, but it still works really, really well. It's just not quite as hardy and as intense with a 700, I believe, watt or 750 watt motor as the Vitamix. But that said, it does have super sharp blades and it seemed to really do the same kind of job. So that kind of gets second to the product, right? What does it actually put out? Even though it takes more time, you know, make sure you have to chop stuff up and you also have to switch it to the vacuum setting and let it vacuum for a while. So the whole setup takes more time. what it actually puts out is very different, and the Flexzion wins hands down there. Very, very honestly. I have been using this for the last week, and I've made tons of smoothies between these ones, trying out different ones. These were just the 4 that I thought would be really cool to showcase. And every single time, the texture, the taste, like it's just more intense taste. It's a wetter, denser product. It just tastes more like a juice compared to kind of like a frothy foam, and the more I've used it, the more the Vitamix actually starts to taste like foam to me. And it's really shocking because I thought it was kind of a gimmick. I didn't think there'd be that big of a difference when I talked with John and did that other video. I thought, sure, you maybe notice some difference, and the science shows it can preserve like 3 times more of certain antioxidants like vitamin C and double the vitamin A and some certain polyphenols and probably tons of things that we haven't even checked out. You can just tell it's a deeper color and it's just more rich flavor. And when you let them sit, it stays better longer. The texture stays better, the color stays better, the taste stays better. It's kind of cool too. It comes with an extra container that you can pour your drink into and then just put it into the vacuum and suck all the air out for storage. So you have a 1 liter storage bottle that can be under vacuum pressure. You can put it in the fridge for the next day and your juice is going to stay the best. So yeah, it's wild. I did not expect that. I still love the Vitamix, of course, but now that I've had this for the last week, I'll definitely be wanting to, and if I can at all times, blending with the vacuum blender. When I go out to Sweden, I'll either be bringing one of these or buying one there at $100. To me, that's not that expensive. It's a pretty amazing deal for the amazing quality product that it actually puts out. So number 3, we'll look at price point. The Flexzion at first looks like it wins, right? Because it's only $100 compared to the Vitamix, ranging from about $350 to $600, depending upon which model you get and what country you're in. I apologize for people in countries overseas. Sometimes Vitamixes can be up to like $800 over there. It's crazy. The Flexzion available at Amazon for $100. Link down below, or maybe even above. Ooh, shameless, yeah. Amazon link, guys. If you want to support me, you can check that out. Of course, I'm a Vitamix affiliate. If you'd rather Vitamix, check that out too. I'll have the links below. But the big thing here is the warranty, right? The Vitamix has a full 7-year warranty, and they're amazing with their warranty. If anything goes wrong at all in those 7 years, they'll replace the parts, they'll ship them to you, they'll get it, all that. Whereas the Flexzion, it has a 1-year warranty. They are great. They are amazing. I had a split cord right off the bat when I first got my first one. I sent pictures of it to the company. They shipped me a brand new one, no fee, didn't even ask for the old one back. So I now have 2 of them actually, right? I know John Kohler, he recommends the Flexzion as the best vacuum blender available right now, especially in that general price point, but just in general as well. The best one available right now. So, that's pretty amazing for $100. If money isn't a big stress, or if it is a big stress, then that might draw you to it. But with the 1-year warranty is a vast difference between a 7-year warranty, and the reality being that the quality and the longevity of Vitamix far surpasses this smaller company, which, there's more moving parts, there's a suction, there's things that can go wrong. You got to be careful, like I said, not only cutting things up, but you don't want to raise it all the way to the top. There's been a few times where I maybe filled it too much, and I think I might have even got some of the fluid into the vacuum during the vacuum process, which maybe that could damage it and cause issues, right? So you got to be a little bit more careful with it. It probably won't last for a lot longer, and I'm really looking forward actually to hopefully Vitamix making their own vacuum blender or their vacuum carafe or just a vacuum container, anything like that with a separate kind of thing. You can, of course, do that yourself. You can buy a replacement carafe that fits on the Vitamix and has a vacuum attachment, or you can look up online how to make your Vitamix or your other blender into a vacuum blender so you don't even have to spend as much. It could be like $30. So there's some how-to stuff. I'll have links down below. And of course, it's in the last video. If you didn't see that, then definitely check it out with John Kohler. So all in all, guys, it's kind of crazy because, out of those 3 points, the Vitamix actually won 2 out of 3. But still, for what it puts out, and being that it's, $100 if money isn't super tight, to myself, the Flexzion kind of wins out because I would want to use it more often, at least if I'm making smoothies or drinks or sauces. The Vitamix I'm definitely going to be using for thick and chunky stews or for nice creams or stuff like that. But you know, it's funny. I'm now a connoisseur of the smoothie, and I really enjoy that flavor and texture, and knowing that I have extra nutrition in there. It really feels like it actually makes a difference. I'm not even joking. I love them both. You know, consciousness over concern all the way. But I agree with John. It is kind of taking it to the next level. And now that I've done it, I can't unlearn that. So if you're worried about falling down the rabbit hole like Alice, then maybe you don't even want a vacuum blender. Maybe you just want to stick it with whatever you got. But if you got a little bit of a disposable income, $100, I think it's a low price to pay to experience the benefits of vacuum blending. I think this technology is only going to expand in the future. Hopefully, again, Vitamix will have one. I know Blend Tech has one out, and this is something that is getting noticed. And when you try it, it's tough to go back, guys. So, yep, that's my review of the vacuum blender versus the Vitamix. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy all my recipe videos. There's going to be a link just after the credits here. And the plethora of other videos I have so much more to come. I really want to share with you too. I'm super excited to share that the Raw Vegan Lifestyle Success System will be coming out super soon. My next video actually should be going directly into it with the launch. Just having a few technical things come up, but it's going to be the solution to helping you live, learn, and apply a holistic raw food lifestyle in a way that just makes it streamlined and easy and way more successful. I'm really excited about this. You know, I've been consulting people for the last decade, and I've always been looking for a way to really connect with people on a deeper level and help them more effectively, you know, be able to help more people more effectively. And this is my solution to that. So I really hope that it helps a lot of people. A lot more on that coming out soon. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell if you want notifications for my next videos. And as always, guys, wishing you much peace, love, and seasonal fruit.
Who won? You decide.
Ooh, don't forget to check out my raw recipes playlist in the top left, the video just for you in the top right. Subscribe for more videos in the bottom right, and get your 3 free ebooks in the bottom left. Grab my free iPhone app, recipes, common fruit and vegetable calorie breakdown, a food combining chart, shopping cart function, and much, much more.